Living in lockdown is anything but a slowdown. I'm Steve McCabe, cognitive hypnotherapist, and today I'd like to share some of my thoughts around how things have been going for most of us during this very, very difficult time. I think it's fair to say that we're all fatigued with well-meaning advice, how to cope better, how to try different things. I had an email this week from a friend who works in the IT industry, and her biggest challenge is working from home, as indeed most of us are having to do. And when she explained that the trick of trying to cope with the volume of information that she needs to cover in her daily job presents this challenge, because clearly we need an end to the working day and a start of relaxation. I'll come back to that in a second, because environment is everything as well, and that's what I'd like to talk about shortly. But going back to this email I had, she had an interesting idea, which was to run each and every one of her podcasts that she'd saved or which she'd been asked to review, and to listen to each of those at 1.5 times the normal speed. Now, that's not quite as ridiculous an idea as I first thought. And when I've actually tried it as well, it does work. You can have a rapid exchange of information at a faster speed. But the point of sharing this with you is because it actually raised a question in my mind about how life has suddenly become in the past couple of months. And if anything, I think life is more difficult than it was, largely because working from home doesn't present any travel difficulties, of course. We've got still the same demands on our time from remote working. And the biggest challenge, I guess, is just managing your workload, learning to say no, but also not being paralyzed by having so much information and so much on a to-do list that you become paralyzed. So I thought today I'd just share one idea which works for me, and it's largely around having a practical approach to work. So it's very much around, I call it visual pollution, but removing anything and everything that relates to the day job out of sight once the day job is finished. And I guess also giving yourself an opportunity to have some time to relax. It's very easy to say, very easy to commit to do, but I find in practice, because there's no physical barrier between our environment where we work and where we live outside of work, that life has become a little bit more complicated and messy than it really needs to. So I have a small technique called 9 things, which just gives you an opportunity to think and distract yourself away from your day job. And it goes along the lines of this. So give yourself some quiet space, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and give yourself thinking time to become aware of 3 things that your body is in contact with. Perhaps now as you're watching this. So whether it's the feeling of your feet on the floor, the chair or bed that you're supported in, or perhaps where your arms are resting, and just become aware of each of those 3 different sensations or feelings that your body's in contact with. Next, think about or become aware of 3 things that you can hear. So even in moments of silence, whether it's bird song outside the window, a whirring computer fan, whatever it is, just become aware of those 3 things that you can hear. And finally, without moving your head, but making use of your peripheral vision, just become aware of 3 things that you can notice by your peripheral vision. Well, once you've done that, bring all of those 9 things to mind the 3 things you can feel, that your body's in contact with, the 3 things that you can hear, and the 3 things that you can see, including your peripheral vision. And now just try doing all 9 together. It might sound a wacky idea, and it is Friday afternoon, of course, but whether it's distraction, not being able to multitask, doing something which consumes your attention, gives your body a chance to just completely disconnect from whatever it's been exposed to that day and allow yourself to really ground yourself. I don't wish to say any more than that on a Friday afternoon. I think we're all very overloaded with well-meaning emails from Sainsbury's chief executives, from colleagues of mine, all well-meaning, offering advice for minimizing anxiety, etc. All fantastic stuff. But we are getting to the point where we're starting to lose the ability to cope with coping. And as a final point, whether it's on social media, on TV, wherever you get your news sources, wherever you hear about what other people are doing, try not to become too consumed by comparison, because comparison, as I heard from another friend yesterday who's a personal trainer, comparison is the thief of joy. And when you think about it, comparing yourself to perhaps how your perfect self should be, or perhaps how your nearest and dearest or your friends, colleagues at work are doing, and measuring yourself against those ain't very helpful. So easy to say, don't do that. At least become aware that you're doing that, and just notice perhaps time when not comparing yourself to others is a different place to be. I hope you've had a great week, as difficult as things are at the moment. Keep safe, look after yourself, and hopefully we'll catch you up in the near future. Enjoy the weekend. Bye for now.